Hi everyone. This is my first live stream. I think I'm a minute early. I've never tried this before, so I hope that it is being broadcasted in the LinkedIn and YouTube. So I just wanted to get on to make sure that everything was working and that it was coming through. I do have my son sitting across from me, just checking if it's coming through. Aries, can you give me a thumbs up? Is it going through YouTube? I cannot see you. Well, regardless, I'm going to start just because I don't want the front to be so long. But welcome to my first stream. I'm Angela Tran. I am a founder of Everolving Skills. That's how you say it. And for those who are friends, family, colleagues, this is my first live stream, and I'm running this kind of my own startup in a agile fashion. So I'm going to switch to kind of my slide for today. And it may not make any sense to you if you don't come from a corporate world, what a sprint means, or if you don't come from a software development. Just know it's just a methodology that I'm using to help myself stay on track and get launched. So today I'm going to share with you my progress of what I've done so far in my own company. I actually my last day of my corporate job was May 31st, and as of June 1st, I guess I am either unemployed or you can see me as an entrepreneur. So now that I'll get started. So in this is what we call an agile project management, and I've been, like I said, using it to start my own business and run it. I really like this process because it's all about kind of incremental value and not necessarily perfection, not one big bang. So much so that I'm actually going to do this with my kids as a summer project on a different project. So if you're interested in that, we will be sharing, though, on different mediums. I hope to I do this quite a bit with my colleagues and teams at work before, and being able to train them to use Agile as an execution method and to delivering results. And I hope I can do the same with my kids. So if you're interested in, if you have kids, again, mine are a little bit older. They're in middle school. They are able to follow along. You can kind of see those demos on, I think we're going to try it on YouTube and also Facebook, I believe. But in any case, in these final demo, I will share with you where I am currently, of how far along my journey I am. Then I'll demo what I've done so far, and then I'll end with next step. So you'll see what I call a sprint schedule. So those are, purists of Agile. I didn't bring in all the ceremonies because I am a team of one. So I'm just bringing in just very basic kind of markers and milestones in my sprint to hit in order to get myself, again, just kind of moving and progressing. So I put myself on 2-week sprints. This is sprint 7, and today is my final demo. So this is where we typically demonstrate what we've done or accomplished so far in a team. So that's what I'll be doing, and then followed by a release the next day. So tomorrow will be a release where I kind of announce it in a written format instead. So thank you for those who are tuning in early. This is my status. This is what I hope to accomplish in this last 2 weeks. First was announce my journey on LinkedIn. I think I did it on Facebook, and really set up this live stream. That was my goal. And I think I hit these 3 goals. You followed me along. I've set up my business LinkedIn page. Also kind of announced that I'm kind of taking this entrepreneur route. What I didn't, and I thought I was able to do, was about my journey video. So I do want to be able to record kind of why I took this journey and share with you, even at the peak of my career, I would say from a financial standpoint, why I'm doing this now. So stay tuned for that in the next sprint. I'll talk more along those lines later in this broadcast. So typically, normally we do not share everything that's in the prior sprints, but since this is my first live broadcast, my first one, I thought I would kind of share all the things that I did in this 7-step process of how I'm starting my business. And I probably didn't even say what I'm doing. I am planning to start my own course creation company. So creating my own training, I realized that I had a really big passion in this. Even though my career, if you look at my LinkedIn or even my resume, a lot of it is in data analytics, and then quite recently was in strategy and talent development. I always kind of gravitate back to training and kind of course creation. I really love the process of knowledge sharing. I'm really passionate about it. So that's what my company is going to be on. It is more of a digital company. So these are the 7 steps where I'm up to. So I'll go through each step and what I did. So nice summary in case you were inspired to start or was looking for a way to start your own company. Hopefully this helps you or helps others along the way. So in step 1, create a business plan. So I probably started this journey, I would say probably most of this year when I was still employed. Or maybe late last year when I kind of decided to do this. So the first thing I do is kind of put ideas to paper. And my favorite tool to use, and probably where I think the best and how I jot down things, is usually in PowerPoint or some kind of deck format. So I simply just went on PowerPoint, I looked for a free template, a business template, and then try to just start filling it in. You'll see here, I didn't even really have a name, but I really wanted to start kind of putting my ideas down, what I wanted to do. And so this is kind of, you can see kind of the outline of it. And then I started socializing. I started telling my friends. I started telling my family the idea. And I would say the pitch was kind of hard. At first, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But slowly as I practiced kind of saying it and kind of practiced writing it down, I think it kind of came together. So step 1, business plan. Check. That's what I did at first. Then as I kind of solidified my business plan, I had to think of a name. So you need a name to even form a company. So I would say Everolving Skills probably was, I went through several iterations. I remember going on vacations and asking my husband, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I got to a point where I was a little bit like, nope, Angela, you got to move forward, because sometimes we can get into analysis paralysis. So I just wanted to, I finally landed on this one. I thought it was a good play on words. And even my friend, really good friend, would say, I tend to kind of blend words together. So Everolving is ever evolving skills, as I do believe that we're in a time that, where our environment and technology is moving so fast that our skills kind of needs to be adapted at a much quicker pace than probably what we're used to before. So I say this because probably the current environment, I do believe that adaptability is important. So for those of you not in the States, LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. So this helps, at least in the US, to kind of do a bit of protection against their personal asset. So I did use a third party. I paid Busy to apply for an LLC for me, and it came back really fast. It was really exciting to see my name, kind of my company name on this. It was the actual screenshot of it. So it kind of made it official. And this kind of started really kind of giving me the momentum to go further. So step 3 is kind of set up accounts. If you look at kind of the step-by-step, the next thing I need, now that I had a business and LLC and everything kind of on paper, I could now get a business bank account. So one of I was reading blogs, doing a lot of research. It's always good to separate kind of personal and business. So I did end up with Chase. Thank you. And thank you, Mimi, for kind of encouraging me. These entrepreneurial ladies who are a few years ahead of me, that's what they use. And they really, it's a big bank, it's out there, and they had a free bonus. So that's what I did. I used it, and I actually got approved really fast. Probably within a day, overnight, I got it. And it was free, and it also offered a bonus once I completed all the qualifying activities. And I'm proud to say that did happen. I did get the money on there. So I went with Chase, and I jumped to Chase Inc. with their credit card, also free. I'm looking as low cost as possible because I have no revenue coming in at this moment. The next thing I wanted to do was to set up accounting. So I did some Googling, just as I would normally. I researched. I tried a couple of tools, and I landed with Wave Accounting. Again, also the free version. It was fairly easy to use. With the free version, I could not connect my bank account, so the transaction would not flow through. But it was easy enough where I could and I don't have a lot of transactions where I could kind of hand enter them in. So that's what I've been doing. So with those two things, I really set up my finance. And by the way, thank you for joining. If you just joined me, you can always go back and look and then and go back. So my husband's sitting here and kind of tell me, because in this free version of streaming, I cannot see who's online now, and I can't see the comments as well. Try it out to see what this looks like. And then just kind of practice. So thank you for joining in. So part of step 3 is also registering a domain name. So now that I had my bank account, I had the money set up, and I put initial investment of $5,000 into there. You do need to be for free at Chase. I think the minimum balance was $2,000. So I started with $5,000. I went to go register a domain. I was just searching, again, lowest cost as possible. I found Ionos, which was only $1 for the first year. So I was like, can't beat that. So that's what I used. I applied for it. It was fairly easy to use. I think we have other servers domain. My husband has always had these domain names for us. And I think he used GoDaddy. I looked into it and I was like, I really didn't, maybe I was being a little bit frugal. I did not want to spend the $20 or $30 or whatever it was. So I found Ionos, and so far so good. At least I got the domain name. It works. I was able to route it to another website. So that's what I did. Now I feel like I was like, okay, at this point, I probably felt a little bit messy when I was kind of setting this up. I was like, okay, I'm reading blogs, I'm following this and that, watching YouTube channels on how to do things next. And I really felt like I needed to bring a part of myself, what I was familiar with. So for those that work with me, you're going to recognize this. This is a project sprint plan, a template that I typically use and I developed. In fact, actually, I can set this up and make it available as free digital. If y'all are interested, quite easily, you just put in the input values and it calculates this for me. So I said, for those who don't know Agile, all it does right here is that I'm breaking down time into, I'm time boxing kind of a timeline. So that gives me kind of some milestones that I know I want to hit and when I want to hit them. So here, this is actually my actual copy of it. You'll see that I probably started back in February, kind of organizing myself into this Agile sprint process. I was like, hey, why don't I do something that I'm familiar with, I know I can execute on? This felt really familiar to me. So usually it's by start and end date. I plan what features will be released, who is using what I'm releasing, right? And of course, in the beginning, it's really myself, for me, and then the key tasks that I'll be working on. And now today is sprint 7. Now I did change the timeline quite a bit from Monday to Thursday, and I can change it here and it kind of recalculates everything for me. But it really doesn't matter too much. The goal is to just, again, time box and make myself, and I also want to set a goal for an overall project. I put myself on a project. My goal was to set up a sustainable company that can be self-managed and to launch my first product. So my first product launch, I really don't have anything to sell right now. I'm really not planning to launch my first one until July 31st. So that's what I'm working towards. And in the future podcasts or future kind of demos, I'll show the rest of my sprints and what I have. So, as I said, step 4 is defining my operational process. I'm using an Agile sprint process, like I said, that was developed in Excel. Now, what I was looking for, and so for those who are familiar with software and the software world and your software development, or even in corporate, I was looking something equivalent to Jira or Planner, or something called Confluence. So that was free and available. And so after some searching and researching, I found ClickUp. And all this is through the free version of ClickUp, which I was super excited about, because again, I don't have any revenue to spend kind of money on these things when I'm testing things out. So with the free version, I was able to create a sprint and sprint board in order to kind of break down my tasks, my sprint, into these columns so that I can keep myself on track. And then I also wanted to start documenting. Remember, I was doing this all kind of on the side, on the weekends, while I was still employed in my full-time job. So I wasn't looking to be out there and selling and pitching. I know it's kind of against what a lot of kind of blogs says. When you're building your business, you should make your income to replace your income. What I find with that is that it's just not really realistic for me, just because my full-time job is quite demanding, and it's not something easily I can just do this on the side. when I'm building content and things like that. On top of that, because I worked for a pretty big bank. There was a lot of monitoring and a lot of more, and the role in the department I was in, there's a lot more monitoring. So even all of our investment accounts are monitored. I had to get pre-clearance to trade with anything. So even if I was starting my own business, started selling something, I had to get pre-approval for a lot of things that I did, and I didn't want to go through that. So all this was kind of behind the scenes. I'm just setting up behind the scenes as I'm working, just so I know I have a sustainable process when I kind of go live right now. So step 5 is to develop branding and marketing. So marketing is not I would say not my primary job. Like I said, I was in data analytics, I was in talent, I was in strategy. And working for the big companies, what I learned, the first thing I look for, because I built a lot of content in my roles before, it was always look for a brand center or a brand kit. So I knew that was a quick accelerator to make things look consistent and look professional. So what I did was that I did 2 different things. I used logo.com, again, free version, and Canva. So this is where the Gen AI kind of comes in. And I remember this, one of my close friends who's a nurse and became a realtor. I remember her a few years ago when she was trying to develop her kind of logo and brand. She had gone out to someone, and I think it was like a company. You can go online and they can send it back to a company, and I think it was India, and they could send her different samples of it. Now, a few years later, it's fantastic because now you can use things like logo.com, that has a Gen AI function. I simply put my company name in, I put my colors, I put some keywords that I have in there, and it would literally just generate pages and like a whole page of logos with different colors, and I could change them and edit them and all that in the free version. I think I tried something else before, but logo.com was the one that helped me the most. And then I use Canva and their templates, also the free version of it, to create what I call a brand kit. So you go in Canva, and I never used these tools before. So you go in Canva, you search for a brand kit template. There'd be a lot of free templates, and you just populate with your own colors. So through the combination of these 2 kind of apps, I was able to kind of create the branding I have now, which is great. I also forgot to mention, I also used Gen AI when I was developing my business plan, as most people have probably played with. Literally, I went into kind of Gemini, used the Google version, and say, can you help me with my mission, value, purpose statement if I want to build a company on so-and-so? And that was kind of my starting point. So I didn't really start from scratch. I just feel like nowadays, even with the technology we're given, I think starting a business is even easier than before. So that's my branding. So with my branding, it becomes real fun, right? Because now it becomes easier to start a YouTube and a website. Now that I have my colors, I had all these logos, I can create banners. I literally I Googled how to create a channel because I didn't even know how to do that. And I think I clicked on one link and it says, what's your company name? And I typed it in, and there was a channel. I didn't know it was that easy. I didn't even expect it. But the good thing is I already had my branding, so I was able to play around with uploading different branding. No one's following it. Nobody was following it. It was nice and kind of play around with things, how it looked, how branding looked on a web page was what I did. And then I applied the same colors and everything onto what I call Podia. So when I was kind of building the business plan, I was researching in the background as well, trying to understand. Apparently, there are these platforms that course creation platforms where you could, I could develop content and courses, upload it, and have people subscribe to it or pay for a certain course to do that. I always wondered how to do that when I was building my plan. I was like, oh, how do you even? I thought you'd upload to YouTube. I was like, how do you make money from this, right? So with these tools, there's actually quite a few platforms out there. With those platforms, it becomes easier to collect money and also have a medium to broadcast your content out there or kind of post it up there. So I landed with Podia mainly because the free version allows me to website. It was simple to use. I just placed in all my brand colors and it kind of just makes it happen. The rest of it, of course, is a lot of my own writing. And then just kind of posting it. So I thought it looked pretty good. Purple is my favorite color. So it was nice to put a little bit of myself into the branding. So I hope, welcome to feedback and kind of what you guys think. Now, step 6 was about, now I was ready to kind of purchase some equipment and also training. Normally, like, if I had a brick and mortar, I would have trained employees, but I don't. So it's only myself and my own training. So I think the only kind of big supply or kind of equipment I bought was a new webcam. So you guys have to give me feedback if this is working or not. So because the old one, I didn't think the quality was that well. So I purchased this webcam. I just went on Amazon to see what was good for the price, at least kind of good enough, right? Was what it was looking for. And then probably the biggest amount of money I spent with my initial $5,000 investment was this yoga teacher training. Now, I didn't really take this necessarily to become really kind of eager to become a yoga teacher. I was a fitness instructor for a really small bit of time a few years ago, and it's pretty demanding. It's definitely a labor of love, but I wanted to take something really for myself and also kind of to help me through this transition, because coming from corporate and then going to kind of entrepreneur is daunting. It is scary. There's sometimes I think, did I make a mistake? But here I am, and I think it's been really, really fruitful. I've learned a lot. Yoga beyond the physical practice is really about the mind, and I thought I'm still taking it. In fact, my husband's also taking it with me. So it's been a really good learning journey, and I think serves as a really calming kind of experience as I transition through this. Not to mention that aside from kind of these kind of steps in starting business, I did started trying to create a concept a set of skills that I've been trying to develop called meta skills. And part of the one aspect or facet of meta skills as I break this down and how to kind of train people and build that up is self-management. And I think yoga really serves as that really good foundation for that, even though it's thousands of years old. So these are kind of the two things where the money started flowing out. If you Google yoga training, it's literally thousands of dollars. It is a 200-hour course. It's taking us every Friday since March. I think we had a break in there, or maybe I took some vacation, and every other Saturday. So with that, my very kind of last up, this catches you up into where I am currently, is to really market. Again, this is something I would say I'm pretty uncomfortable with, just because it's not something I guess I normally do very publicly. It is sharing a lot of myself and what I'm doing. I do find it kind of vulnerable. So thank you for those, or for the kind words, or for joining in. I figured that I might as well just try it and go for it. So if you had followed me along, I did make a couple of LinkedIn announcements, first on my last day of work, saying that I'm kind of closing a chapter and open. I think it was either last week or so, or maybe last week, that I posted about what I'm doing with my career and starting this company. So I hope to, and I'm doing this just hoping to share with everyone, take everyone along the journey with me. The skills that I'm trying to build kind of training on is, I think, a lot with kind of transferable skills. So I'm trying to take what I know from corporate and make it more familiar. So for example, even doing this live stream to me is something familiar in a way, because I'm very used to doing final demos in a workplace setting. And then the only difference that I'm live streaming, and to me, a meeting is similar to live streaming, right? And I do a lot of meetings at work before. So there's a bit of familiarity for me for here. So thank you for tuning in. You'll see this. So I plan on doing this every couple of weeks. So I encourage you to join along if you're interested in learning. Hopefully it gives you some ideas. I know from a lot of people I talk to, we always have these aspirations that sometimes we're too scared to do. And I encourage you that there's so much free stuff out there now, and the technologies have gotten so well that it's quite, I would say, there's a lot of learning, but it was quite easy to kind of get me this far, I would say. The hardest part is probably motivation, right? There's days that I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. But then I would get into it and kind of work and kind of put these ideas to paper. So my next steps, what happens next? I will be releasing my first edition LinkedIn newsletter called My CEO Journey. standing for Chief Everything Officer. I had what I told my friends. Thank you, Michael. He is the one that gave me this idea. He had said, "Oh, how do you feel about being a CEO?" And I was like, Chief Everything Officer. And quite literally, it definitely is Chief Everything. I'm learning how to, of course, account, set up paperwork, all the back end stuff that normally in very big companies, it's all taken care for us. So it's kind of starting from scratch and doing every piece of the business, which actually honestly has been quite fun. So I will talk about the features in the last sprint. My future demos probably won't be this long. Typically, it wouldn't showcase everything that I've done, but since this, I think it will only make sense if I start from the beginning to tell to the point where I am and then continue forward and on. So I will do it in written format in a LinkedIn newsletter. And then I'll also share just where to find future content, right? My LinkedIn page, website, YouTube channel, and this pattern kind of will continue. So my next one, this kind of closes the sprint once I knew my release tomorrow. So my next one, what is my goal for my next 2 weeks? I hope to film my CEO journey. So I'll answer questions like, why at the peak of my career when I was making really good money and I had a really good trajectory, would I quit my corporate job and then start to make a business and start from scratch? I'll talk about what motivated me and what kind of gave me the courage to do so, and then hopefully to give you some inspiration and maybe I'll reveal some some personal things of my journey. I'll also provide some free digital templates for download. Probably my sprint plan, I think, is easy. Something if you're looking for some way to break up what you're trying to do, your own project, into kind of sprints for yourself, that might be a good way to just a free tool to help you calculate. And then I'd love to hear any feedback of anything that I've done, how it was shared, and then kind of improve from there. So this is my 2 week. This is what it looks like on a sprint calendar on my 2 weeks. So I start on the Thursday, kind of develop, and then on Monday I'll do kind of what I call next sprint planning. So to plan what I'm gonna do for my next sprint, and then today, kind of Tuesday, it would be my final demo. So I will be live demoing those, and then Wednesday we'll release through the newsletter format, kind of typing up all things that I'll be releasing, putting links to everybody. So I hope you guys subscribe to the LinkedIn newsletter. If that's not your channel of choice, let me know what is. And then any other tools, any recommendations that's out there. There's so much out there that I haven't got to play and tested that I am happy to explore more. This is my Sprint 8 schedule. Again, these are, if you worked with me for, very familiar templates that I typically use and that I like to do myself. This is just kind of giving some dates that are my target dates that my next sprint will look like. So we'll do a final demo Tuesday, the week of July 4th, and showing my next progress in a video. So with that, I'm not able to see in this restream. I don't even really know people are online listening. I hope you found this useful, but I appreciate any questions or comments, feedback. Leave it in the chat. I will go check it. I'm not even sure how it exactly looks like, but I will go check it and respond it. And let me know what you think. It's been fun, and I hope to see you guys in the next couple weeks. Thank you so much. I will post the links out there. I will share what I've done. And then if you want to see anything, like delve a little bit deeper, I went through that pretty fast on each kind of section. If you find any of that kind of, you want to know more in detail, I'm happy to make a video about it as well. Perhaps you want to see how my business plan looks like, I can do that. Or if you want to see what ClickUp looks like, I can also demo that. Just let me know. Anyways, thank you so much. Again, I'm Angela Tran, and this is Sprint 7 demo for Everolving Skills. Thank you. Bye.